Yay, we did it because we have permission. Yeah. You see, everybody's watching ads at the minute, so we don't actually have to speak. I'm joking. Hello, everyone. Good evening, and a very warm welcome to the penultimate round of the Artemis Esports Championship, and it is, yeah, round 5 of the mini-series. We're nearly there. We're nearly at the end of pre-season. You could say 1 week until the actual football starts as well. So it's all coinciding. But alongside me for tonight, my AEC partner in crime, Ross Greenhorn. Welcome back.
Yes, welcome back everybody after what was arguably one of the best races we've had in the mini-series all season long. There was a crazy ending to that race, multiple takeouts, multiple incidents. There was a long old stewards report, a long old night for the stewards after that one in Spain. But here in Interlagos today in Brazil, it's going to be another one where it's a track where there's constant overtaking, very good opportunities left, right and centre. The whole sector 1 through the CNS as the end of sector 1 coming up through the middle sector. You might see a bit less overtaking, but sector 3, that long straight line back down towards the start finish line, is definitely going to be one with the DRS active. Many overtakes will be made. So another exciting night of racing in AEC. One more round to go after this, which will be announced later on in the stream. But everyone already out on track, Joseph.
Yeah, indeed. Not wasting any time at all. And I do have some news. There is no rain. There was a lot of talk in the chats and whatnot about the possibility of rain. Drivers wanting a little bit of spice to the race. But nope, the skies are clear in Interlagos. And we'll have a pretty much normal bit of running. Harvey already saying Portugal are right quit. Do you want to change your mind, Ross? It's Ross who's picked it. That's all I'm gonna say, and all will be revealed once again after the checkered flag, as usual as well. Honestly, the chat is my favourite bit about a Wednesday night in AEC. It is just, it gets me going. But what else is getting us going here is the fact that the drivers are likely to do 4 runs. So already taking us away, I actually don't know who's first. I believe it's one of the Hasses, NRX Finn. And he's actually gone for the set of mediums, intriguingly.
Yeah, not a usual tyre compound we like to see in qualifying, but nonetheless he's still going to finish off this banker lap. He's just coming up towards the end of sector 2 now, just towards the last couple of corners up to turn 10 now. This right hand that's going to feed you into this downhill left hander here is going to only be one of the last corners of the track, really the last proper corner you could say of the track, because after this it's just a case of just rotating the wheel around towards that start finish line. People like to run a tight line as they come up this hill here. Now it's all the way to the left towards the start finish line with DRS active for decent amount of time as you finish off the lap, keeping it right to the inside of that white line there. Then they're going to cross the line with a solid 1:18.2 with NVR Stallings behind them on the soft lap though with a 7.5. That's what we're more like to see. FRT Justin is on the 7.9. You see Mercedes of Allison who's starting off his lap, and you've got a couple here more behind him. Spy Raptor at 8.7. Don't see anyone else finish a lap just yet. Red Bull just starting off his lap there. Alfa Romeo of Liam Bowman is looking strong at the track already. Jumps up to just behind his teammate there, making it a novice race and 1 too early on in qualifying.
Yeah, indeed. Not a surprise to see those two pretty much intertwine with lap time there. Just about a 100th of a second in it at the moment. Zinity, is he finishing his lap here? He looks like he might be running right down to the wire with ERS and crossing the line on a 107.7. That's another thing about Brazil. ERS, you've got to start deploying quite late on your build-up lap so you have enough to be able to push all the way to the line without the derating you get when you're below 10%. Venom slotting up into P5, couple of thousandths behind FRT Justin at the moment. We've got Allison coming up through Junsao now, and a whole line of cars actually coming over the line. So let's watch the times tumble in. I think there's some flying laps taking place now as well, because I've not seen any lap times pop up the board yet, so I might have struck it lucky with a lap from Allison, and indeed he does go into fourth. But FRT Chelsea setting the early pace then, a 107.525, 11 lap times on the board. A pleasant surprise to see that man quickest.
Yeah, Miss Anthony just across the line there, jumps up into fourth place for EXR. It's so showing for them so far, but Justin and Anthony are 4-8. Currently, BRT Crowden is sitting in P11 for Bunga Racing Team. I don't see anyone else on a lap. Nico validated his first run. I don't see anyone else on a lap except from the two Ferraris in the middle sector. So is TV and Nagro just behind them, but Shizuka Latifi is the furthest on cars. He's going to keep on going down towards his final proper corner of the track, I'd like to say, down the turn 14 is going to fly up towards the last part of the track. This long straight, you want to have a low enough downforce that your cars have enough straight line speed with the DRS active to see it cross the line fast enough. You usually see people jump to about 200 miles per hour mark as they cross the line there, but it's only a 1.8 for Shizuka Latifi. FG Jack can't do any better. He invalidated his run. He was only on for a 1.87. And then you got TV and Nigro who pit on his lap, but PSR 7, PSR are just starting off their laps. Nick with a 16.7 far sector, looking strong already.
Yes, this is on the intermediates, strangely, but I can confirm it is a set of tyres that he is on at the moment, coming up through Ferradura, turn number 6, now into turn 8 as well, just kicking the back end into there. Downhill left-hander now. The circuit built using the terrain here in Sao Paulo. That is why it is full of energy, full of elevation, full of enjoyment for the drivers, as PSR Nick will look to be one of the two PSR drivers stamping the success story in the AEC mini-series. They need to outscore NRX by 18 points if obviously neither of them, or indeed PSR, take the win with that as well. Due to countback, Nick crossing line, and he's gone quickest by about a tenth of a second. Unsurprising to see the young German up there. FGE Jacob peeling into the pit lane now as well, but it's the turn of Sav, who's invalid, whose lap would have been good enough for P1.
Yeah, strong showing by PSR once again. It looks strong every single track they competed at, and especially now at a track where they know they can confirm the title, which will be nice for them to take, looking towards the AEC Tier S series, which will be coming up very shortly as well. So we've got Tier 1 and Tier 2 qualifiers just before that, and then Tier S starts off a week after that as well. So that'll be an exciting time for them getting back into proper racing again. The pre-season tournament has been enjoyable to watch, so to say the least, as you explained, as everyone's just been taking it quite serious, but they've done their best for the team, see what they can do, and then see how the Tier S season will go for some of these teams that are going to be competing in it. But no one on lap so far. BRT Meatborough is the furthest man on track. He's going to be starting off a flying lap now. He first off invalidated his first proper flying lap. He's going to go for one again. It will be a fresh set of soft tyres right to the right hand side of the track. They're running a bit left but right on the tarmac, but he's up into fourth gear early, keeping it in the limits. It's quite easy to invalidate at that second corner with an easy cut on the inside, but he's kept it clean. He follows on down with a busy bit of traffic to the left hand side and towards the Zia de Lago, now braking around 100 meter board, flicking it to the left, keeping it in fifth gear. Nice bit of traction on exit. He feeds up the hill as well with an altitude of 747 meters. The second highest track in terms of altitude on the F1 calendar, so it is not scared to have a little bit of height to it. As you follow on down the hill you go now with BRT Meatborough, still keeping it in the limits on that Red Bull car. He looks towards turn 10 now. The sharp right hander is quite easy to invalidate on the inside there, but he feeds out the corner nicely, runs it out downhill, left hander. Turn 12 coming up next, keeping out the way of that car on the inside, up down to the third gear. Sometimes see drivers take fourth gear for that little bit better traction on exit, but Meatborough takes it in third gear and gets a good amount of traction on exit. He's going to follow on this line, keep it tight to that white lane on the inside, tight to the barrier on the left hand side, and Meatborough across the line for Bunga Racing Team, and it's up in a P6. Yeah,
solid effort for BRT, the team currently 7th. In the standings as well, and it could have been a whole lot more for them last week, with Gabor spinning from a podium position on the final lap as well. What could have been for a lot of drivers, in fact, last week, including Rev Caterpillar of NVR. What a race it was in the end, full of entertainment, a little bit of controversy as well. Arch picking up the 10-second penalty, which tumbled him down the order for the collision with Drobel, and yeah, we could get into that in a whole different time, but we've not got a lot of time here in Brazil because the laps do come in thick and fast at the moment. Let's get the telemetry back on so we can see who's pushing at the moment. The driver in third place at the moment, Stonks. Chelsea has aborted on this particular lap. Stonks up the hill then towards turn 11, the Rico de Pato, translated in English as Duck Hill. Shout out to James Head in WR who initially taught me that, but I thought I'd adapt some of the translations this evening. Nice lap there so far from Stonks, using all of the curb on the exit of Junsao, and now pushing on hard to the line. Same old story. Use the inside, go right up tight against that inside barrier, and crosses the line. Just misses out on provisional pole by about 100th of a second against his old PSR teammate Nick, but Stonks looking competitive, NVR looking competitive. RPSR, their main rivals today.
Yeah, looking likely. So Liam Bowman just finishing off his lap. He's half a tenth up in that middle set. He might have a little bit of time to find coming down this straight. We'll have to find out as he goes to try and jump into the point fours like his teammate just did. Can he be enough to jump PSR Nick for the top of the session? Go back to that MVR 1-2 as it was early on. He's going to cross the line now. It is into the point four. It's not enough to beat his teammate or Nick though, but it is a P3 currently for Liam Bowman. Next across the line, the Alpine, or I believe ESV Bobbert's tight across the line. He is only staying in P8. Azul Latifi up into the point sevens now with a P10 for Falls Group Esports. We've got FRT Justin now close to the left hand side. There's up in the P8 as well for EXR, and you've got McLaren of, I believe that is Simba one sort of a lap. It is behind him. You have got NRX Zenity who's on a lap currently in P5. He finished off that last lap and is up in a P5 still already. And you've got the Mercedes of TV8 Niagara. I'll not set a lap yet. He's going to get his first time lap on the leaderboard. Now he keeps it tight to the inside. It is a P9 for TV8 Niagara. 7.7 early on still. No one really breaking up with the front three so far. Chelsea twice now he's messed up that lap at the start. So we need to find see if he can find time at the start. And Venom jumping up into P4.
Yeah, good effort there by Venom. He always puts in a lot of effort for his team, and that's the same once again tonight. The top four within about the top five within a tenth at the moment. But PSR Sav, the man I'm keeping an eye on at the moment, sorry, he's coming around Jun Sam now and down the 1.4 kilometre long flat out section which covers the distance between turn 3 and turn 1. Sav crosses the line and he is into that low 1 minute 7 category. A 107.230 gives him 2 tenths of a second over his teammate Nick. It's a PSR 1-2 on the night that they could secure the mini-series.
Yeah, usual to see that from Sav. What a lap that is, a 7.2 with 5 minutes 40 to go. That could be enough for pole position. The only person that can really pip him is probably one of these front four. Nick Stonks, Liam Bowman and Shizu Venom are looking very strong as well, but that's a fantastic lap by PSR Sav. He's definitely probably got some more time in it as well. We're looking at possibly a high 0.1 for that pole time, but Simba Rocks 1 I see jumped up into P11 for SLR, who you could say haven't had the greatest of mini-series. Every week they've tried their best. They had 2 back row lockouts in qualifying, but they always end up scoring a little bit of points in the race, though, so they do end up making up some positions in the race, avoiding contact and not picking up any penalties in the end. So yeah, another team that can look at scoring some more points today to try and round out what would be a not bad campaign in the no assist mini series. But as we said, this is the point where everyone's going to be back into the pit lane, except NRX Finn, though he is still flying on his lap. 2 tenths up. It's going to be a 107.7. They can beat this lap on the board. That will jump him just ahead of AMS Anthony. Is he going to find any more time in the last sector to jump in higher than P8? He's going to keep it tight to that inside line, tight to the Rolex board on the left and across the line, and it is only 100th of a second behind AMS Anthony.
That's so tight in the middle, isn't it? 3 drivers, 3,000ths of a second in there at the moment. You mentioned SLR. Of course, it was a chaotic race last week. Race Roller coming over the line in P7, and that has actually made up the bulk of their point scoring. So they just need races like that, really. And yeah, that's where the points comes for those. But you know, historically, a clean team a really well-run team as well in SLR. So, you know, they are always a welcome asset into any tournament they participate in. Even their qualification for Worlds, everyone felt that presence. It was great to see them pushing up the order as well when they had elite risks. Obviously, now he was at Valor, raced last week for his new team. Again, just mostly lots of swaps. There's no fixed roster for this mini-series as well. So every week we're seeing new faces. Every week we are seeing new levels of talent and understanding. Just about a week away from the actual regular season now. We are really understanding the game fully, and we're understanding what the AEC tournament could look like.
Yeah, definitely. It's given us a taster of what TRS could have for this season. Obviously, last season, the first ever season of doing it, it was a fantastic season in the end. It went right down to the wire between Nexus Racing and Paradox. Sim Racing in the end, of course. Nexus did end up pipping them in the end. So, obviously, PSR will be looking to get that title to their name. They've won practically everything in terms of Xbox F1 scene. Obviously, missing just a couple of trophies to their name, including the Tier S of AEC, so that'll be one they can add to that trophy cabinet if they end up having another successful season like they have in the mini-series here as well. But one man is starting off a lot very early, but it's had a quick invalidation there. It's Shizu Venom. He went a little bit too early on the inside there to that left-hand side curve. He's going to gain some ERS back and I guess go again as he's fueled up for what will be 2 laps on that one. But the track is getting busy, Joseph. What will this quality have in hand for us?
Yeah, Venom, will he have enough fuel to go again? I think he might be able to, considering he's actually foot to the floor in 3rd gear, absolutely revving the hell out of that Renault power unit. He should be able to get round and go again. Deg isn't extreme around here in Sao Paulo, so he might be able to get away with this one. AMS Anthony has just started his latest and final flying lap of the session. Chelsea, this looks like a double out lap to me. Had absolutely no intention of starting that lap by the looks of it. So we'll turn our attention back to Anthony, who's found 6/100ths of a second in the first sector, but he's already encountered a lot of traffic in the first few corners, and it will only get worse as he goes on through the middle sector as drivers queue up, find the space to start their final flying laps of the session. Rounding turn 8 then, and now down the hill once again. Still yet to reach any of those cars who are pushing on, noting perhaps that he is coming up quick, thick and fast behind them. Now it's starting to bunch up. They all need to be off the racing line. It's a scary experience. The Mercedes off the racing line. One of the cars, and I think it's his teammate, coming around the final corner. Slipstreams permitted. Slipstreams utilised for Anthony and the EXR team as up to the line in his Aston Martin. A huge helping a slipstream on the racing lines. His teammate starts his lap. It's a front row start provisionally for AMS Anthony. A sensational showing of teamwork and determination. What a lap.
That was fantastic. What a good teamwork that was between Fantastic and Justin. Timed that to absolute perfection, giving a toe to his teammate in this middle sector though. No improvement, it looks like, for PSR Sam, who's currently down in that first sector. He's going to fly on down the straight he goes and see if he can gain. He's got a purple middle sector. Is going to be enough to break into the point once, possibly a high .0. Sam, has he got time in the last sector to see if he can gain any more time and get to that .0? It would be a fantastic lap. The seal position, PSR Nick cross the line. It's only a .2 for him, but Sam crosses the line now, and it is a 1.53 for PSR Sam, looking likely to be a PSR 1-2.
Stonks crosses the line, sets the same lap time as the Greek driver. Liam Bowman in traffic! Can you believe that? Yes, it's only 3rd, but I'm actually quite stunned. Sav has gone on to pole, but Bowman was stuck behind a Ferrari. I'm not quite sure which Ferrari. He's since got out of the way. I don't know if he got a slipstream. I believe it was FGE Jacob, I believe. Shazoo Latifi still halfway around his lap as well. That's unbelievable. Chelsea, by the way, has gone second onto the front row by 1,000th. Latifi going up to 10th on FGE's return to no assist racing here in AEC. This is quite a sensational qualifying session. I'm still stunned into near silence by that Liam Bowman lap. That was a driver on an out lap who was a good... I don't know. It was a good... It was a whole middle sector. That's the worst part of the lap for impeding. I'm sorry for getting a bit distracted here. Bobbitt's has crossed the line, I think, and stayed 8th. Venom not improving at the moment. So I think that's qualifying over, with the exception of Jacob, who's 8 seconds down still. I don't know if you saw it, so I don't know if I'm just sounding mad and out of my mind at the moment. Sab's on pole, Chelsea, Nick, and then Bowman.
Yeah, that was quite the end, and I caught a very, very short glimpse of it. I just followed on board with Sav as he was finishing off that lap, but I think I did see a quick glimpse of it on the track map. You can see the Ferrari was ahead, and I've seen from what Cobb said in the chat that apparently he has skipped the queue in the last sector and overtook him on the straight when he started this lap. So there was a point of where he got a slipstream, and also a point where he got bad dirty air through the middle sector. So win-lose situation, P4 still for Liam Bone, which is fantastic in terms of what's just happened. But
hang on a minute. It gets worse, Ross. Look who's in second.
oh,
Has he just...
oh my!
He's retired.
I believe there was a timing glitch, because I think Chelsea was ahead by about
I
a thousandth of a second.
think
I
he
think it was
was.
something like that.
Yeah.
And then he's jumped back behind, but what a mad ending! What a mad ending!
Just another week at AEC, isn't it? Nick has actually got second. That is absolutely outrageous. Chelsea has been kicked off the front row because PSR fancied starting 1 and 2. There's some rigging going on here. Yeah, okay, we'll just get on with it. Professionalism, yeah, all of that good stuff. Chelsea 3rd then, Bowman. Anthony 5th with the same lap time as Stonks. 4 drivers in the top 6 who can say that they have shared a lap time with somebody else. Bobbitt's and Venom on row 4, the 2 Shazoo drivers with a really good showing there. Then Zidity splitting Shazoo from TV8. Then the TV Finn, Meatball, Justin, Cyberox, Ron, Crowding, Jacob, and I think I caught it at the end, Nico in 20th as well. What a fun session. We'll give it a couple minutes. I think I'm the one that's instructing the start time, and we'll say 27 so we can have a few minutes.
That was quite the ending. That was I didn't even realise what had happened until I really looked at it. That was yeah, no, that was incredible. I do need to point out what a lap though by PSR staff. That point 1 in the end, only man to get into the point 1s during that session. It was a fantastic lap time. I'm sure that will give him good confidence going into the race. But I do suspect every single driver to be starting on the hard tyre. I am correct. 1 through 20 drivers, all on the hard tyre. I'll give you a quick rundown as we missed out on the classification screen. But PSR Sam, PSR Nick, I've got this on a Paradox Sim Racing 1-2 for the penultimate round of the NA mini-series. FRT Chelsea, you could say robbed of P2 by PSR Nick. The game kind of glitched him back down, but it's P3 for the FRT driver. P4 for Liam Bowman, who was blocked on that final run. AMS Anthony with a fantastic lap in P5. Good teamwork by FRT Justin. MBR Stonks in P6 for Novice Racing. Shazoo Venom in P7 and Balbert's P8. Usual from Shazoo. Starting right in the middle of the usual point scoring position. So that'll be exciting to see what they can do on that opening lap. Zinity in P9. Looking to see if they can get a 2 in a row for NRX after last week's win by Cinder. TV8 Allison in P10 with TV8 Nigral in P11. You've got Shazoo Latifi in P12, NRX Venom P13, BRT Meatborough P14, FRT Justin for EXR in P15, Simbarox 1 in P16 for SLR. Supply Raptor 285 in 17th for FRT, BRT Crowder in 18th, FGE Jacob in 19th, and the back row lockout once again is SLR Nico.
Yeah, thank you for that, Ross. We'll be going in about a minute's time as well. Requester Brett. Brett's not been here for a while. We've not really been having too many Bretts on the go. I know we had a fact. I've got plenty of those. If relevant, I'll just drop it in because facts. People don't like facts, and I'm quite sad because I just mentioned that I like reading about the circuit. Not necessarily for the purpose of the stream, but just to learn a little bit more. But that's that then. PSR have a front row lockout. Bizarrely. They didn't. That's like a one-place grid penalty for Chelsea for his abhorrent gamer tag. I think that's fair, but that might just be me.
Lethal Leicester fan, eh? No, we're doing it. We hate on people with the teams in their names. Oh well, that's what we got. I see 4 people have redeemed request a fact, so I'll give them a couple before we start
Sort
off.
of.
Posters have a 36 probability of winning. That's the lowest of any F1 track. The layout is based on New York's Roosevelt Field Raceway. The name Interlagos stands for Between Lakes. And what else can I give you? 43% of races have been won by someone on the pole position, and when the track first opened, it was originally 4.9 miles long, but due to safety concerns, it was then shortened to 2.6 miles long.
Stop! Stop, Russ! Stop! 5 lights on ahead of the drivers! And they're out. Sam are underway, and facts aside, Sav gets away well on the 195-metre dash to the first corner, ahead of his teammate Nick, who goes down the inside. His teammate very accommodating there, giving him plenty of room. It's wheel-to-wheel momentarily, and Chelsea's around, and he's taken Bowman with him. 3 cars around with Zinity spinning after 2 or 3 corners as well. And that is drama on the opening lap. People in the chat didn't want to see drama, but we've already got it just a few corners into the race.
Yeah, both ways spun round. That's Betty Jacob. After moving up a couple of positions, he's been spun round as well. What a bad start for FRT's. NRX Finn will move to wheel with TV8 Nigro. They come up the hill towards the start of the middle sector. Nigro puts Finn a little bit to the inside line now. Finn's got the better line for the corner. They still battle wheel to wheel throughout this middle sector. What a battle this has been, but Nigro gets a much better traction exit from that last corner through turn 10. They come and it's Nigro up in the P6 and Finn into P7. What a start of that was by Paradox Sim Racing. Nick and Sam peeling away from the pack, almost broke that DRS gap to MVR Stonks already, but AMS Anthony followed in behind, avoided that collision, and TV8 with a solid start already, with a 5 and 6 already as well.
Yeah, and Shazoo Latifi, who is on a set of medium tyres, has made moves on the opening lap as well. Nick leads the way ahead of Sav, ahead of Stonks, ahead of Anthony. Stonks already losing about a second. There was a gap, a bit of a void created by the spins of Chelsea and Liam Bowman. Bowman's managed to recover to P11, so I'm excited to see how he gets on. Chelsea is rejoined at P18. He's looking strong around here as well. Jacob at the back, the Hawaiian driver, has lost a couple of positions there and falls into P20. Let's have a look at the positions gained and lost, and we've got some big winners, understandably, due to that early contact at the front. Allison up 5, TV8 Nigel up 5, big gains for the TV8 drivers. Finn up 6, Latifi up 4 on the mediums, and then Justin and Simbarox 1 up 6 as well, as is Crowding, Supply Raptor up 3, and then obviously the big losers, Venom. I think Venom was actually tagged somewhere in there as well. He's down 10, Chelsea down 15, of course, and that just about concludes lap 2. Relatively single file throughout that lap, but interestingly, Stonks has managed to just fish back into the DRS range of PSR Sav, who has taken the lead from Nick. These two will start to work together and just try and extend the gap.
Yeah, you can see not a lot of VRS being saved at this point. See, they're all trying to burn that battery early on and just see if Nick and Sav can work together, being burned from each other. Just keep slingshotting off each other, I like to call it, and gap Stonks from that DRS gap. Also, Anthony behind, now getting DRS for EXR. He can have a very solid race driver and keep it clean behind MVR Stonks, and Allison and Nigro will do their best trying to catch up to these two ahead. And Shoes Latifi right on the back of NRX Finnomic, look to get that P8 with a better compound of tyre as of this stage in the race. So we've still got our 33 laps of racing to go ahead of us. FRT just getting a bit needy behind Shizu Latifi during that middle sector, but the whole grid still pretty close together. A little bit of a gap between the front 4 and Allison, but that will soon close up with the DRS now enabled. It is any man's game for the lead.
Yeah, it is indeed. 1.1 seconds now, the gap between Nick and Stonks, but it's actually close. Coming out of Jun Sao, the detection zone not until actually a couple hundred metres after Jun Sao, and already really pushing the limits of battery. Nick and Sav, and through goes Nick once again, exchanging PSR positions for the lead of the race. Latifi ahead of Finn on the medium tyres. Nigel swapping places with Allison as well. Some great bits of teamwork we've seen all evening so far. Now between PSR, now between TV8. And, well, unfortunately the same couldn't be said about Shizou, who have actually, I've noticed Bobbitt's tumbled down the order as well. So there were more collisions in that first sequence of corners at the centre S that actually met the eye from my point of view. It was... obviously, we noticed Bowman and Chelsea. Now Justin's had a moment coming out of Desida Delago, and drivers getting really caught out here with, well, I don't know what really.
Yeah, Justin's a bit too throttle happy coming out of that corner there. He's only in fourth gear. He's like almost full throttle because he entered the apex. So yeah, almost half spun the car. Lost a couple of positions to Liam Bowman, who's right on the back of Simba Rocks 1, looking for that P9. We've seen it before in Bahrain. He likes to, have a little bit of a comeback drive when this happens to him. So we'll see if he can do it once again for us. He's using that battery against Simba Rocks 1, not really using it to defend from us. Liam Bowman's got the DRS advantage now on Simba Rocks 1. He's going to look around the outside, actually, as he comes around the outside, and that is a P9 for Liam Bowman. Another switch at the front between Nick and Stav as their gap increases to MVR. Stonks using everything he can to try and catch up to these two ahead, but they're looking far too strong. Looking to confirm this AEC No Assist Mini Series Championship earlier than expected. Latifi through on Allison now as well. He's making up loads of positions on those medium tyres, making them to good use. FRT Justin and BRT Crowden early on. Good positions being made up by all teams.
Yeah, indeed. Good shot there of Nick looking back on Sav. And Sav obviously having to back off, so going side by side into turn number 4. Meanwhile, plenty of side-by-side action from 6th, running down to about P11, where Justin is at the moment. He's just cleared BRT crowding on his recovery drive as well. Of course, racing for EXR now, as we're on lap 5 of 36. No safety cars in sight just yet. 13 of the last 21 Grand Prix around here have had safety cars of some sort. So it is quite common, considering the high proximity of the barriers. It's very easy to make a mistake as well. Bowman tucking in now into P8, clearing an RX Finn. And meanwhile, Shizou Latifi on FGE's return, making moves, making himself known, back up into P5.
Yeah, he's really letting those mediums get to work, as he's just using them to his advantage every corner. That grip advantage early on is really showing on those medium tyres compared to the hard tyres. He will also have an earlier pit stop than the hards, but making up those early positions of the start is always good to see. Liam Bowman is still fighting away. Nico is crashed on the straight, it looks like, into the barrier on the left hand side. No safety car, or even virtual safety car for that, surprisingly enough. Not sure how that's up, but he's crashed on the straight, an unexpected place. Usually you see anyone crash, but in the midfield this pack is getting a lot closer as they all come up towards turn 10 now, towards the swooping left downhill left hander. Liam Bowman right on the back of TV Allison. He's making at least one move every single lap. He's got to keep that pace up though. He wants to try and see if he can catch back up to his teammate and see if he can help him out a little bit, catching up to these two in front. He's going to have DRS now to assist that overtake on TV Allison. Niagara Head still can maybe help out his teammate a little bit with slipstream. Liam Bowman using everything he can in that battery pack, looking down the inside. Allison's got 87% saved. Doesn't want to burn against Liam Bowman. He's going to get that inside line early, and through he goes into P7. Liam Bowman making up loads of moves off the start.
Yeah, complete rarity actually that we've not had a safety car for that Nico incident, unless he pressed the retire button, maybe just got stuck or something, felt a problem in his equipment. That's not uncommon, and the safety car just doesn't trigger that way, which is fair enough. We carry on as normal on lap 7. AMS Anthony, Shizou Latifi 4th and 5th. Sorry, it's Anthony closing in on Stonks at the moment. This is for P3 and a position on the podium, which I'm sure these two would cherish at this stage of the race. There is fierce competition to be that sort of best of the rest at the moment, outside of the two PSR drivers who have led from the front so far. Nick, if you're just tuning in, actually retired with a lap time 1,000th slower than FRT Chelsea, and jumped in front and got the front row. So that's a new glitch, which might need to be passed on somewhere, because that can cause a few problems in levels of high competition. Meanwhile, Nick has retaken the lead from Sav. There's not really too much point flicking to go and watch that, because you know it's done at the moment quite sensibly. But if there was ever going to be two PSR drivers to maybe fluff something up, it is the youthful and sometimes Twitter silly Nick and Sav. I'm being nice on them there. I could have said something a bit worse, but I chose not to.
Very nice of you, very kind of you, Joseph. BRT Crowden just got that outside line perfectly picked there by FRT Justin, moving himself up into P11 with an early 3-second penalty to his name though. Still doing his very best. I believe he's one of those drivers that's still in the learning process of the no assist switch from turning off the line. So doing pretty well so far. It looks like with the P11 for Crowden and for Boonga Racing Team, also Meatborough down in P18. Not the greatest result for him so far. A team that's not scored many points in this mini series. I'm sure they won't really be too bothered though. Still looking forward to his TRS. What was a very fantastic campaign with their main driver Joe Murphy, who was battling for that driver championship alongside NRX Rusty, but Rusty in the end did end up pipping him out. But Allison coming onto the straight now, sees Liam Bowman, sees his teammate ahead. He's going to see if Nigel can defend for a little bit harder, see if Allison can enter into that battle. Liam Bowman with not a lot of battery at all to use. These two TVHers have a lot to defend with. Nigel picks the inside line. Liam Bowman holds it, gets the inside line on Nigel. Through he goes into P6, now chasing down Shizu Latifi for P5. AMS Anthony's right on the back of MVR Stock, but still no manoeuvres happen at the front, except for the two at the front who constantly keep switching positions before the pit stops come. They'll just keep that going until it comes to a pit stop, where they'll just keep continuing doing that, and hopefully till the end of the race with no safety car.
Yeah, and interesting to note about the two TV8 drivers, a lot more ERS in comparison to other drivers. 50% for Nigel, topped up to the brim for Allison as well. So these two playing the long game, unsurprising considering their position. Not too much to really focus for ahead at the moment, and quite reserved in that there's not too much pressure from behind. They can sit in this train, allow the pit stops to come in. They know that Latifi's got to pit. They know that Bowman's pushing on to try and catch the leaders. And yeah, it'll be, like I said, interesting to see how long they go. Here comes NRX Finn. I'll tell you what, is that a quietly sound race at the moment. I think making his first or second appearance in the AEC mini-series so far. Here goes Nigel on Shizu Latifi, trying to follow Liam Bowman through, who made the move with DRS. Latifi didn't have any available to him, but he will now, because the detection zone right in the middle of the Senna S allows him to try and defend here from TV8 Nigel, who is going to go down the inside at Desida Delago. Latifi leaves the space. He's ran out wide ever so slightly. That allows Nigel to pick him off on the inside of turn number 5, and through he goes into P6. Latifi, though, starting to feel the effects of the mediums.
Yeah, the snap up there as he came up the hill. Looks like Allison will be able to get him as they come onto the straight with the DRS active. But Nigel, though, still looking to maybe get that position back from Liam Bowman. Obviously, 24% battery compared to Liam Bowman's 13% as he'll come through turn 10 now. There's a big chance for Nigel. If he does fancy going for that overtake, he can maybe do it. He's got the DRS advantage, he's got the battery advantage. If he wants P5, he can go and get it. Let's see as they all come onto the straight. No changes happening between Stonks and Anthony just yet. Still at the front, Nick and Sav constantly changing positions with every single lap. Just keeping that slingshot slipstream with the DRS going. Nigel not planning on overtaking Liam Bowman on this lap. It looks like slows down before the DRS line. It's going to keep on following on the rear end of that Alfa Romeo. AMS Anthony's a lot closer to MVR Stalls than it has been from the last prior laps. You're going to see DRS this time is going to be an inside line for AMS Anthony early. No, it's not going to lift off the throttle and still just follow on behind MVR Stalls. He's been doing that since the start of the race, really, so he doesn't fancy getting an overtake done early. Maybe close to a pit stop time, he might fancy going down the inside. But it's NRX Unity at the back. He's brought out a virtual safety car. I'm not sure what's happened there. I don't know if he's still going. He's not. He is still going. He's got no front wing though. It's like it might have been a collision with another driver. Don't know what's happened there, but Zinity still moves on. Virtual safety car.
Still a VSC for the moment. I think it will stay that way, considering it is off the circuit, I believe, where he crashed as well. But it's our first neutralisation of the race. Drivers can now get on those ERS and fuel saving measures. Of course, the fuel does actually, you know, you're not constantly saving in the higher gears like you would be on F122. You are accelerating quite aggressively coming out of the corners, and that is where Venom, and that is a drive-through penalty, and I don't think he is the only one. Crowding and Justin's penalties are both for track limits, so Venom, his race has gone from bad to a lot worse very, very quickly. Justin and Crowding, the battle of the two drivers with track limit penalties, that's just concluded. Justin up into P11 there, but I was mentioning the fuel. Some drivers might have gone for it, just been a little bit you know, cautious and mindful that the fuel does deplete, and others, they might have run actually quite light, hoping for safety cars and virtual safety cars.
Yeah, no, maybe they thought it was maybe quite a safety car filled race at the back. There's another spin, that's BRT Meatborough for Bunga Racing. Siemens, he's just talking about safety cars, definitely not a safety car for that one. But yeah, no, it was obviously, that was our first virtual safety car. As you said, a bit of a confusing one with SLR Nico. It looks like he was completely out of that race, but as you say, possibility of a possible just press retire on the dash. It could have been anything really, but yeah, surprisingly enough, no safety car for that, but they carry on with the race. They all come up the hill now in this midfield battle. So Liam Bowman 4.1 seconds off of AMS Anthony and his teammate MBR Stonks. Nick and Sav swap once again. They all come on to this start-finish line straight again. There's no maneuvers anywhere on track. They all follow on with the DRS now, but they're closing up ever so slightly. Nigro is right on the back now of Liam Bowman. He's got a chance to gain back some ERS, so he's actually now got more than Nigro, who actually had a lot more than him before that safety car came out, so he jumps on too. Coming out of the CNS, looking towards the Tino de Lago, it's still Nigro looking at the rear wing of Alfa Romeo of Liam Bowman, but still no manoeuvres happening on lap 13.
Yeah, indeed, Anthony just being quite, I don't know, relaxed in this. He's done a good job in qualifying, stayed out of trouble on the opening lap, and he's just tailed Stonks for pretty much the entirety of the race at the moment. Nick and Sav has gotten away a little bit more. Stonks had a poor restart, I think, losing about half a second. So that's not particularly ideal in his pursuit for a potential top two. But I think it is just so difficult to beat PSR when they're towing each other along as they are, just gaining even a tenth, 2/10 every lap when they can, because of the position swapping, the DRS swapping, driver getting an advantage from the other each lap. Meanwhile, a bit of action for TV8 as Allison looks like he's going to overtake his teammate here in Nigel. That's for P6, and again another coordinated overtake. That's the second we've seen, I think, from the team this evening. I think it's just a bit of cat and mouse in this mid-pack. They're just trying to make sure their tyres go to the pit window. They've not had really any chance to just look after them and try and extend the stint. It might be a very conventional strategy here.
Yeah, no, just working together. Just like Nick and Sav have been doing all race long. Just no need to battle each other that hard. Let him through. See if he can catch Liam Bowman. If it doesn't happen for him, maybe let him back through. But pit stop should be coming very, very shortly, especially for Suzuki Latifi on those 14-lap-old medium tyres. He'll be looking to try and get off them soon and jump onto a set of hard tyres. He'll just keep on losing positions with the tyres degrading every single lap. Nothing happening else though. Alison's actually dropped a lot of time to Liam Bowman, almost out of the DRS. They're going to get that DRS. I believe he just gets in and no more. It's been a very sloppy last sector by
Poor
Allison.
exit.
3/10 again, yeah. I don't think he actually got the DRS on Liam Bowman. He did not get DRS on this lap. A really bad middle and last sector for Allison. Lost him a lot of time, and now it's a game of catch up again for him against Liam Bowman. Nigel might fancy a move back through on his teammate again, but yeah, and once again, no manoeuvres happening as of yet. Anthony in front still following on with MBR Stonks, but his pit stop soon to come up. Maybe we may see Anthony finally make that move on Stonks.
Yeah, indeed. He did actually manage to recover it, did Allison. I think he dumped a lot of battery there just to make sure he did, and to actually protect his teammate as well, because both of them would have been in a lot of trouble very quickly. They still didn't have that DRS to Bowman, who's pretty much stayed at around a 4.5 second gap to the cars in front as well. I tell you what, short term, it's been a very good recovery from Bowman. Started 4th, now in 5th again, following that melee on the opening lap. Just unlucky, I think, the way Chelsea got on the power. Lost control a little bit, and then there was just absolutely nowhere for either of them to go. Apparently you've had 4 chickens for dinner.
Is that not normal? For a normal dinner?
Just 4.
Just 4 chickens, yeah.
We won't question it. Nick's back into the race lead, by the way. Anthony still sitting in 4th, and he's got 90% ERS. Stonks, he knows that he's not really being attacked at the moment, so he's also got around 75. It's rare we see a race like this. It's very calm. It's not the NASCAR style that we had last week in Spain for pretty much the entire race, where Everyone was just in a big train, the safety cars came out, and it just got more chaotic as it went on.
Yeah, quite good though. Quite a nice feeling having a bit of a calmness to the races. Pit stops will come though, and hopefully get a bit more chaotic. That gap between Liam Bowman and Anthony might close down a little bit more, allowing Bowman to push on and try and see if he can catch up to those two ahead. But I can feel like Anthony's had fantastic race management here. He's gained all that battery back. He knows that once he comes to that making that move, he can do it with that DRS advantage against MVR stonks. But pit stops should be coming very, very shortly. No one would be looking at pit as of right now, but they all jump onto lap 17. No, Nick and Sav, no change this time between those two. Sav right in the back of Nick those. Anthony again still right on the rear wing of MVR stonks. Still no manoeuvres for those two for that final podium place. That would be EXR's first podium in the AEC no assist mini series. That would be a fantastic result for them if they can pick that up with AMS Anthony here. But no manoeuvre as of lap 17. Still flying on behind that Italian branded Alfa Romeo rear wing. Still no manoeuvres happening anywhere else. 3/10 Latifi still on those medium tyres, should I point out. Taking off.
Oh! I'm sorry to cut in, but Crowding has just had a mighty oomph contact with Justin. That was... It looked like netcode. That shouldn't have happened as it did. Or something with the contact model. It was so sudden. Again, that caught me off guard. But Justin did look like he just moved a little bit under braking perhaps and gave Crowding not much room, but again the contact should not have happened like that. And yep, got a feel for Crowding there, got a feel for a few drivers tonight. It's just not been their day, and when it's not your day, it's not your day, and it's definitely not their day.
No, certainly not after that collision. Glad you picked up on that, but there big pit stops finally happening. Latifi in from the mediums to the hards. Nigel in first of the hard runners onto the medium tyres. Also doesn't want to make any mistakes with his teammate. And also now ahead, you've still got Anthony not making that manoeuvre in MVR stalls. You must think that Anthony must be eyeing up a manoeuvre about now. The pit stops start to fly in. That's also crowding into the pits, fixing that front wing after that collision between him and Justin for what was being P12, I think it was. But yeah, no, all coming up towards the end of the middle sector. It's still Sav and Nick. 3.7 seconds is the gap between those two. Obviously, they'll have to have a different pit stop time. The leader will get priority. I'm going to guess Sav possibly could be in the pits on this lap. That means 16 laps on medium tyres. We've seen Latifi take his medium tyres about 17 laps, so they know that they can go the distance and still be pretty competitive. So let's find out, will there be a pit box for Sav, will there be a pit box for Nick? It is Sav. No, it's not. Sav actually sent me to the shop, so Sav still carries on with his lap. Stonks not pitting. Anthony, no pit stop for him. Is there going to be any other pit stops? Liam Bowman into the pit lane. NRX Finn, nothing for him. Simba Rocks, FRT Justin might eye up coming into the pit lane, but but yes he does. Justin also into the pit lane. So a couple of pit stops coming in. Liam Bowman being one of the big ones. Where can he come out after that big gap between him and Anthony?
Yeah, let's see. We're watching the gap to Nigel. You lose about 19 seconds worth of race time in the pit lane, and it's one of the longest on the calendar as well because it extends right through turn 3 as well. But you do have that inside line for the most part, so it's going to be an intriguing race down in towards the first corner. Nigel emerging now, carrying a little bit more speed than Bowman, but Bowman is long gone out in front, a couple of seconds ahead of TV8 Nigel. A nice cover off there by Bowman, but he's got off the track. He's been caught out by the cold tyres. That will lose him a few tenths to TV8 Nigel. Needs to really nail down the middle sector now on this outlap to make sure he's clear of one of the TV8 drivers, and hopefully, for his sake, he can jump the other clearly as well. Any more action in the pit lane? It's the turn of the two PSR drivers out in front. Sav from Nick. Well, neither of them actually pitting. Stonks and Anthony coming in. We know that PSR do like to extend their stints when they have the opportunity. Just make sure they're on the fresh tyres and they can build the gap towards the end of the race. Are they doing the same here?
Yeah, usual from PSR, they do like an extended strategy, see how long they can carry out those hards and as fresh as possible for the second stint. Also, these two have to pit on different laps. I'm going to guess one of them will come in this lap, and then the next lap will be the next one. I'm going to guess Sav will be first in. Obviously, first priority for usual as the pit stops coming. Maybe not, maybe Nick fancies to pit, Sav might not want to pit, but we'll find out. You can see that gap between Finn and Nick being 10.9 seconds, and Bobert's 11.8 behind them. You can lose lose, I believe it is around 23 seconds in this pit lane. On F1 23, said it is one of the longest pit lanes on the calendar, but Stonks is very close to the back of ESC Bobbers already. You see Liam Bowman has cut that gap absolutely down. It was originally about 4 seconds, now he's in a 5/10 gap of AMS Anthony. That will now allow him to maybe help out his teammate a bit here and challenge for that final podium along with his teammate, making it a nice little 3-4 for Novice Racing. Sav into the pit lane he comes. Where will these three come? It's Bobbers. It's been a massive hold up for these three drivers. Bobbers is holding up this massive train. That might help out. That might help out the others ahead just a little bit more. NRX Finn might come out a little bit ahead here. He's going to come into the pit lane now. So they're all coming towards turn 1. Bobbers now gets out of the way. Stonks goes through. Anthony goes through. Bowman now goes through on the inside. Bobbers a massive hold up. Where will NRX Finn come out? He's just coming out of his pit box now. Can he get ahead of TV Allison? He was only a little bit behind when it first happened. I don't think there's going to be any more manoeuvres. They all come onto the straight towards the Destina de Lago. It's Stonks in the P3 still. Anthony just remember Anthony may go for the manoeuvre now. He thought about it. He didn't want to make that manoeuvre too early. Bobber still staying out. Nigo and Allison and Latifi and Simba Rocks all got ahead of NRI Finn. Finn losing out about 2 positions from that pit stop.
Yeah, absolutely. Bobbert's... I don't know who he's helping, considering Fernham's had a drive-through penalty, is yet to come into the pit lane, so it's definitely not his teammate. But he has just spiced up the race. Bowman has caught up right to the back of these two. He'll be past Anthony in no time. And in fact, he might actually force Anthony to make a move here on MVR Stonks, something that he's been reluctant to do throughout the course of the 22 laps of the Sao Paulo Grand Prix so far. Coming around Junsao then, we're finally going to see some podium activity. Here we go then, on board with AMS Anthony. He's gaining, he's lifting off. He's lifting off. Stonks is lifting off as well. So he's got to go for the move here. He's pretty much said, just go through, for crying out loud, as the two NVR drivers will surely want to both pass him at the same time.
Tell you, look at that gap between Nick and Stonks. Nick just out the pits now is only about 1.6 seconds between these two. If they can all get a move on and not battle it a bit too hard, they can catch back up to these ahead and possibly challenge out. But it looks like Sav has got 2 seconds ahead of PSR Nick. So these two can no longer have the usual slingshots with each other, trying to gain a bit of a gap. Next one now try push up to Sav without losing any time to the cars behind. There's going to be a big battle here between these three. See who can lead the way and who can push on to catch up to these two ahead. Anthony still leads the train currently after making that move on Stonks. He hasn't made that move on Stonks until that last lap of lap 21 starting off 22. But Liam Bowman is now looking at the back of his teammate, maybe saying to him, come on now, you can get past him again, I'll possibly follow you through. They all come up the hill now towards the far, this long left-handed uphill corner. It's still Stonks looking back. I don't think he's going to be making any manoeuvre on Anthony. He's burning the ERS, but Anthony ahead, just keeping his calm, not using any ERS at all. Stonks not able to make any manoeuvres. Liam Bowman not wanting to get past his teammate. Now Allison getting through on Bobbers, who still hasn't pit, mind you. I'm not sure what strategy Bobbers is going for here, but Latifi getting through on Finn as well. They all start on lap 23 with Sav, Nick and Anthony as a 1-2-3.
We've seen PSR on the podium, we've seen NVR on the podium, the two main teams in contention at the moment, but we're yet to see any of EXR. Is this the lap, or is it in the next few laps, does it all come crashing down? The pressure from NVR is relentless at this stage. Stonks late on the brakes, coming through turn number 8. Anthony was given the hurry up. He was sent through by the Dutchman. But now, both drivers can recharge, can assess what they're going to do. Lining up the Aston Martin. 5/10 is the gap between Anthony and Stonks. It's lap 23 of 36. Will be 2/3 of the way through this race in a few moments' time. Here we go then. On board once again with Stonks as he's gaining all the time on AMS Anthony, but he just lifts off right at the end of the start-finish straight. There's not a lot of urgency in this race compared to other tracks. Is that just the management that's required on both the ERS and the tyre front?
I feel like the engineer will be telling Stonks and Bowman of how much ERS Anthony does have. They need to try and just force him into some sort of mistake, or just try and make a double overtake on him to make sure he doesn't get right back past me. And obviously, Anthony combined has more ERS than Stonks and Bowman, so again, as you said, it probably is more just about race management. Make that move as late as possible on Anthony. Don't allow him to defend hard on you. Don't lose any time to the cars behind and also in front. But still going to Anthony running very wide out of that corner there. This might allow Stonks to maybe get a move on as they all come on towards turn 12 now, as Stonks is only about 4.5 tenths this time. He was 7.5 tenths last time. Anthony getting a fantastic exit out of that corner there though. He's got DRS to assist him on this overtake. Will this be the time now? Ready to start off lap 25 of Stonks getting past and Liam Bowen being shortly after.
Let's see then, but I think I'm just going to say the same thing that I did last lap. Gaining, yep, backing off at the end of the straight. No surprise really, but it's coming. It is seriously coming for NVR, and again gaining his Stonks 2 tenths now the gap, and backing off about 75% throttle by the end of the straight. Such is the power of the drag reduction system. Sav leading his teammate Nick by 2.4 seconds, and that is the difference of 1 lap in an undercut, just in ahead of Latifi, who had to go onto the hard tyres considering he started on the mediums. He made good progress, but now he's starting to fall backwards on those pretty, yes, reliable, but otherwise slow Pirelli white-walled tyres. Venom still yet to come into the pit lane. His teammate Bobberts gaining on his drive-through victim teammates in Venom, 1.1 seconds, and that is just going to keep coming down over the course of this lap. Another penalty for crowding. The collision was unlucky, but otherwise, yeah, he's been off the track lots. 9 seconds of penalties now to his name for the BRT driver. Venom, the only driver not to have made a pit stop in this race, has let through his teammate in the middle sector. NRX Finn has just got ahead of Simbarox 1. Coming into the first corner, will Simbarox 1 fight it back? And once again, this is where SLR, despite Nico's mystery crash that we don't quite know the cause of, they're finding themselves in the points again. Ever reliable are their drivers.
Yeah, Simbarox 1 once again turning up for the team. P7 last week, P9 on for this week, or possibly a P8 if he can get back past NRX Finn. Just Mr. Reliable in the race. I just said no penalties to his name, not involved in any collisions, not had any damage or whatever. Just followed the strategy. Now look at him, P9 with just behind on a penalty. So he's in the clear. He's got a lovely little P9, good amount of points for SLR to have a good penultimate round to going into the final round. They'll have a bit of fun in the last round, I'm sure, and they'll enjoy themselves. They've had a decent performance in the No Assist mini-series. It's not been their greatest performance ever, they know that, but I'm sure they've enjoyed themselves in what has been a fantastic pre-season tournament for them. This battle for P3 though is still on. Stonks, as you said, gaining, no manoeuvres. Once again, it's just going to be a big cat and mouse game. Allison and Nigel will swap positions now, as he feels that Allison might have a bit more pace than Nigel, but Stonks is ever closer to Anthony than he has been for the last few laps. But again, he's just not getting close enough by the time they come to the braking zone to make that manoeuvre. He's going to keep putting pressure on Anthony right towards the end of this race, because if Anthony can get this result off, it'd be one fantastic result for EXR. Really put their name in there to maybe get in that Tier S allocation for this season. Anthony especially will be making an in for himself. Stonks gives him a little bit of a tap on the rear there. Nothing too harsh though, still carry on with each other. I don't think that would be damage worthy for Stonks as they all come up towards turn 10. It's still Anthony leading the two MVR drivers.
Yeah, and of course we mustn't forget that Stonks, apologies, a yellow flag, virtual safety car. That's Zinity that's gone around for the second time at turn 2. So he is not having a good day with those with that Senna S, is he? As he's back going again. Probably a rear wing just scattered off the circuit again. And that should be an easy clean-up process. And indeed no sign of the full safety car that came out 5 times in the 2016 Brazilian Grand Prix. Well, a scary yet fascinating race that was. But yeah, I was going to go on to talk about Stonks. Of course, joining EXR, definitely part of the recruitment process, I assume. Getting the likes of Anthony to the team, and now he's up against them again. Joined NVR for that different perspective, that different challenge, and so far he's looked encouraging. He's getting a fair amount of race time. He is a real match for the likes of Bowman and his other teammates as well. Now he's got to be a strong leader here. He's leading Bowman. He's got to get past Anthony, and he's got to get the team on the podium.
Yeah, that is his aim, especially gaining all that ERS back under that virtual safety car. He's almost at 100%. That's someone off. That's FGE. Jaco, I believe. No, it's Shizu Latifi, actually. Sorry, my bad. Shizu Latifi off in the middle sector, that left-hand side wall. He won't lose positions for him, but I believe he does have very slight wing damage from that incident. I'm not sure what happened, but Zenity retires in the pit lane finally. But there we go, MVR stonks. Finally through on AMS Anthony. It took some time, but Liam Bowman out of the move as well. He looks to the inside line, Liam Bowman. He might force Anthony. Anthony spun round, and from that collision with Liam Bowman and Stonks, the pressure was too much, and that chance of EXR's podium was faded away. The two MVR drivers run off in the distance, and Allison looks to get P5 from Anthony.
I don't know whether to be surprised. I don't know whether to be. All of this training and the waiting, the overtake happens, and people just forget, don't they? Just forget how to handle the car going into the first corner. It was strange. The benefit of the doubt to Anthony, he was, a bit late on the brakes. He did nudge Stonks, and then Bowman was sort of going down the inside anyway, so they both just ran their course, and unfortunately came together. I don't know how else to analyse that, to be honest. I'm sure there's an element of lag and whatnot in there, the contact model. But for NVR, it's a gift. Stonks and Bowman now 3rd and 4th with a 5.5 second buffer to Anthony, who's just overtaken Allison following the brief slump into P6. But more defending now to do for the Greek driver ahead of, again, 2 teammates.
Yeah, no, especially Anthony losing out of that position. I'm sure it'll still be a good result at P5, or what could have been will always be on the back of his mind. I think it was just a combination of things, a bit of late braking by Anthony, maybe a little late braking from Liam Bowman as well, but only the stewards can give what they can see from that incident. FRT Chelsea picking up the fastest lap for that extra point for FRT after what's been we're just not their day, especially after what they've seen in round 1 with almost a win from FRT West taken away by Stokey on the final corner at Britain from now in Brazil with a 14-16. It's an up and down mini series for the future racing team, and I'm sure they'll have an exciting TRS campaign ahead of them. Zell jump on the straight. PSR Sav leads the way as we start off at lap 31. Nick not able to catch up to his teammate as of yet. 2.3 seconds between those two. 6.3 between Nick and Stonks. Curving a 1-2 for PSR and a 3-4 for Novice Racing. It stays the same. Here comes TV Allison again. He might out the move down the inside into turn 1. He's going to sit behind Anthony this time actually, as it was with Stonks for a mountain of laps, but as Allison now jumps through the Senna S towards the Cedar del Lago. He's got DRS to assist an overtake on AMS Anthony. It's an absolute very solid race for EXR. His team, on the other hand, only down in P10 with a penalty. It might drop them down even further, but Anthony, you still got to say hats off to him getting P5 for the team with still the potential of ending a little bit lower, but still picking up some good points for the team and what will be a fun little penalty round for them.
I'll tell you what, I was just going to mention Sav and how he'd become the 3rd winner for PSR, the 3rd different winner for PSR this season. It'd be the 2nd 1-2 for the team as well. Sav runner-up to Kai in Saudi Arabia. And as James has rightly said in the chat, Smokey has just announced his departure from the team as well. So the man has moved over to PC, announcing some potentially bigger and better things in the coming days as well. Wishing him all the best of luck. Here comes Liam Bowman. Is he going to overtake his teammate Stonks? No, they're just going for a bit of a parade for the podium at the moment. No Drivers' Championship involved with this. NVR pointless last time out in Spain, partly due to the late collision with that man in 2nd, PSR Nick, and Rev Caterpillar at turn 7. Rev said he wanted to visit turn 7 in Catalonia and just relive the moment and maybe cry a little bit Uh, due to how promising that result was, Allison, of course, now ahead of Anthony. It's a sandwich in between the two TV8 drivers, and it looks like he might well drop as low as P7 here when a podium was on for the EXR team, who currently sit in 8th in the championship. And NVR, the aforementioned team that I just said, sitting in 4th. They would comfortably overtake Valor ahead of the final round, and they'd close right up on NRX, who are only scoring at the moment with Finn.
Yeah, no, this will be an easy championship secured for PSR. It just has not been NRX's day, to say the least. Sinity be having a disappointing race, 2 offs, 2 virtual safety cars caused by him. NRX Finn, on the other hand, they had a pretty decent race, a quiet one to say the least in P8, not had much to do. Simbarox 1 still chasing him though for that P8 position, seeing if he can pick up any more points for the Summit League racing team. He look to the inside line now as he comes into turn 1, he's flashing away as NRX Finn. The Simbarox 1 goes for the inside line, they bang wheels as they come through the NIS now towards turn 3. Finn looks to go pivot off the track, but Simbarox has got a lovely exit. He's got a bit more DRS to use, he's got DRS to assist the overtake. He looks to the outside line as NRX Finn defends the inside, but it's not enough as Simbarox moves into P8 with 3 laps to go.
He is rocking, isn't he, Simbarox? One, it might not be over for him as he closes in as well on the battle between TV8 and AMS Anthony. 1.4 seconds. Can he work together with NRX Finn, DRS-wise, to try and close in to the 3 drivers in front? Are they going to back up enough to bring Simbarox 1 into the fight as well, the 3 drivers in this battle? For P5 at the moment. 3 laps to go then. There will be no safety cars, and I'm pleased. It's been quite a peaceful race. There's not been too much to get excited about, and I know people like chaos, but some people just like a normal race without too many negative driving standards, and we've had that today. I praised the first 2 rounds, I believe it was, of the mini-series because they were generally quite good and quite encouraging for the start of F123. Another great example as NRX Finn goes around the outside again. Simbarox 1 gets pinched on the apex. Whether that's bad racing or not, you can make the call, but Simbarox 1 will certainly fancy it once again. Back in the slipstream, a little bit more, ERS than Finn, who was ran to empty. Finn defended. Simbarox 1 fancied the inside just as much as Finn did, and they almost made contact again.
Yeah, a bit of a late one from NRX Finn there, to be honest. He could have picked that line a little bit earlier to make it clear where he was going, but nevertheless, both avoided the contact luckily, as Simbarox has still got the opportunity with DRS on this next lap to make that overtake on NRX Finn for P8, which will be a fantastic result in the end for SLR once again. They were the man they can rely on for some points. Simbarox won P7 last week, going for P8 this week. I'm sure they'll be happy with a couple of points to their name in this penultimate round of the AEC No Assist mini-series. He jumps on the straight, not as good of an exit as it was last time, but he'll have the DRS to close up as Liam Bowman and MVR Stonks will be battling away for see who can get the better position on track, to say the least. A bit of fun during this back end of this race. Simbarox 1 closing again on NRX Finn. Still nothing happening between those two. The MVR Stongs are closing up behind it. Liam Bowman. No manoeuvres happening between those two for that 3-4 Simbarox. Closing again on NRX Finn, but he won't be able to get a manoeuvre down towards the Sierra de Lago this time. No late manoeuvres from Finn. Simbarox 1 still P9 with 1 more lap to go.
Indeed, and we've got a yellow flag in Sector 3. I believe that's one of the 2 BRT drivers, and that would be Meatball, who is 16th at the moment. Crowding, not even scoring a point due to his penalty situation. Supply Raptor will double up on FRT's point scoring. That's one for Bella Fox to report next week. And Finn! Oh, he's made a mistake. He's cut the corner, and it's a 3-second time penalty. He's ran wide as well. All of that momentum just being lost at the moment. Simbarox 1 should now have P8 in the bag. No sign of anything more as the 2 continue to battle, but a great exit. The DRS game's being played. Simbarox 1 holding back, now attacking. DRS open, pulling to the inside at the final corner. Not much room there. Finn showing him where to go once again. It's the inside eventually for Simbarox 1. down the inside and up into P8, and he should stay there for the remainder of this lap. A nice battle between the two, a nice refreshing battle considering the circumstances of this race. Very much 2x2 at the front of the field. Sav and Nick started first and second. They've been first and second for the entire race. There's been Grand Slams here in the past. It's not quite a Grand Slam considering how the two drivers have worked together in the early stints, but PSR Sav rounding Junsao Junction as it's translated to. And, well, we'll see the checkered flag in a moment to take PSR's third victory of the AEC mini-series. But double it up and let's crown them the AEC mini-series champions here on F1 23. Yes, it's for fun. Yes, it's for pre-season. But a nice reward, nevertheless, for the opening 5 rounds of the game cycle. Liam Bowman finishes third, another podium for him. Could have been a little bit more without the misfortune at the start, but him and Stonks have worked together to secure third and fourth, and a valuable turnaround for the team out of Allison. Anthony managed to stay in P6. Nigralu dropped off just a little bit at the end. Sibarox won, Finn, Justin, and that'll be Chelsea, Bobberts, Latifi and Crowding rounding out the points.
Yeah, what a penultimate round that was. Brazil, it didn't have as many overtakes as you might have thought of. You can't even lie about that. But it was still a fantastic race in the end. Congratulations to PSR on what was the AEC mini-series championship. And as you said, it's all for fun, but I'm sure they'll still be happy to take that championship after what was a very solid season for them. Once again, looking forward to the TRS season coming up very, very shortly. They'll do their best in that once again. So Pyroraptor actually took that final point from BRT. Crowd and East took that and got P14 for FRT there. So
no, sorry, it's carnage on the main stretch. Cars in the wall. There's about 4 cars just chilling. I'll tell you what, we'll run through the order, we'll keep people waiting, and then we'll announce the track, shall we? It's after the podium. And, well, who cares about that? PSR 1-2, yeah, blah, blah. These are the results. We'll just grab them for the sake of the old results page. Again, I don't imagine too many stewards' inquiries, maybe in the incident between Crowding and Justin, but other than that, relatively reasonable for the most part. Maybe the incident with Anthony as well, but it's all just down to what the teams think on the day, isn't it, in this pre-season tournament. Now we'll hand it over to you. You have chosen the final round to be...
I have chosen the Yas Marina Circuit in Abu Dhabi.
Yay! Round of applause, everyone. Yay! We're going to Abu Dhabi, baby! And that's our... Well, it's our third Middle Eastern race, so it's not very diverse, is it? We've not really thought about that, the diversity and inclusion. Our bosses outlined that in the commentary package. No.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm joking, obviously. But yeah, a lovely 43-minute race. Yeah, it's Abu Dhabi, ladies and gentlemen. We hope to see you there. We've got the championship wrapped up. We've got NVR closing in for second place, so it should be a nice decider in the desert once again. Thank you all so much for watching, and thank you for getting AEC to 650 followers. We're halfway to 700. I'm sure we'll hit that during the qualifiers as many of the noobs find us and tune us in. There should be some big hitting views there. Not quite what we hit last week when we slotted in third on the all-time list, but your support very much appreciated here in AEC. Take care. Have an awesome evening. Bye-bye.